We came out and had a great practice today. The energy is freaking incredible. You know, the side of my future, God only controls that. No other man controls that. You know, me getting up, working out every day is a passion that I love doing. You know, not for football, but for a lifestyle. So the game comes easy, and when you love it the way I love it, man, you just keep going until that fire burns out. I don't think it'll ever burn out. You know, it's just the bottom line. You know, when I decided to let it go, but that's totally up to God. So after that, come out here and just keep educating these young babies and just keep having fun playing football. I think the young guys had to understand the tempo very quickly because I think coaches almost installed 100 defenses in less than 20 minutes. You know, so my head was spinning myself, so I can only imagine these young guys' head. But, man, it's just amazing, you know, to see how they bought in so quickly. You know, Sergio and Cody, you know, just seeing them trying to run to the ball and all these young guys just getting to the ball. You know, the tempo was very up-tempo, very up-tempo. You know, everybody was competitive, you know, and things like that. So anytime you see that, you know, that's always a good start. We did some good things this offseason, you know, bringing in Anquan, bringing in Starworth, you know, re-signing Mace back and things like that, picking up, you know, 2 great young tight ends in the draft, you know, things like that. David Reed as a receiver. So I just think overall, you know, offensively we got a lot of pieces in a lot of places. But, you know, we also did the same thing on defense side of the ball. So you know, it's kind of exciting on both sides of the ball that we got some pieces that's going to step in right now and help us. My mindset definitely changed, you know, when we kind of drafted Cody. Putting just imagining Corey Redden, you know, Cody, Nada, and Suggs on one line, you know, I think I get to run around and have fun again. So that's always a good thing, man. But as far as me, my emphasis was just a lot of different things. You know, every year I'm always trying to find a different way to just take my body through confusion. And I did a great job with it. And now I'm, you know, sitting at a nice weight that I like, I'm very comfortable at right now. I don't want to lose too much. You know, I want to kind of stay right where I'm at by 252, you know, stay right there and, you know, just even out and just keep having fun. I think I just impressed on, you know, how he's just already threw himself in the starting lineup already. You know, it's just saying, you know, him on one side, Suggs on another. You know, I just think he's a great kid. You know, I told him that, you know, when I saw his name, you know, and I got ready to call out his name at the draft. I said, you know, I watched him in college, and I just like his fire, the way he plays the game, and just to see the way he runs around now. And you know, I was just briefly spoke to him over there to tell him, you know, we're very interchangeable parts. So the bottom line is, you know, whatever you need outside off the field, then let's figure it out. You know, let's stay after later if we got to stay after, come over to my house, whatever we got to do, we'll figure it out. You know, this time I kind of took a different art. You know, just took a different art, you know, the art of Kempo, and, you know, just really, you know, not finna go into mixed martial arts and nothing like that. You know, I don't like being hit in the face and all that. But it's good. It's good because it's a different type of work, you know, and it really teaches discipline in the mind. And I really focused on it, you know, greatly this time. And now I have to go back and pick it up. You know, a good friend of mine who's my sensei, he's a very hard person to actually deal with on an everyday basis, you know, and try to add football with that. So you got to kind of block him out when you get ready to do it. So, you know, that was the biggest thing that I made the change with this year, and I just think it really helped me with my flexibility and everything. So.